Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our NFL Week 10 preview between the St. Louis Rams and the Indianapolis Colts. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Rams.
Offensively speaking, it's a shame now that Sam Bradford is out of the lineup that the Rams' running game has finally started to get it together, because now the passing game has stalled. And this week versus the Colts, the Rams should take the quote-unquote possessions approach to the game by playing small ball. That's leaning on the ground game, chewing up the TOP, and flipping field position with every possession that doesn't end up in points. Defensively, obviously, mission number one is slowing down the Colts' passing game, and personnel-wise, the Rams should feel comfortable enough to bracket or double T.Y. Hilton, their outstanding receiver, and forcing Andrew Luck and those other targets to make plays consistently. That'll be the biggest key defensively, in my opinion, this week versus Indy. Now let's move over to the Colts in this ball game. And the most underrated aspect about Andrew Luck's game is his pocket mobility, and it's that attribute that will definitely be needed this week versus the Rams, as they have two outstanding edge rushers in Robert Quinn and Chris Long. I would also expect to see more screens this week versus St. Louis to combat the rush and the press on the outside. Defensively, the Colts are a very stout unit, and last week versus Houston was an anomaly in my opinion, especially in the first half. They started to clamp down later on in the game. Now this week versus the Rams is about beating the Rams guards in a running game while also protecting the perimeter, as they run a lot of outside zone. They run a lot of stretch and belly play, so you have to really protect the perimeter if you want to knock off the Rams this week.
In order for the Rams to have success this week versus the Indianapolis Colts, they're going to have to play great nickel defense. And I'm going to show you how they can zone blitz Andrew Luck and still drop three guys back in coverage. So we're going to show you as a three deep zone blitz out of the nickel. So this is your nickel back right here. What we're going to do, we're going to sit him off the edge, try to influence a quick throw. Boom, this guy is going outside. We're going to have the defensive end crash in the B gap here. That's his rush lane. Defensive tackle going down this A gap. Boom, his rush lane. The middle backer is responsible for the hook zone, which is right where he's at right now. We're going to have this defensive tackle crash outside, because this is what we're going to do. We're going to have them take this gap instead of sending pressure down the A gap. Why? Because we're dropping the defensive end into the curl flat zone right here, because we're sending the outside backer on the blitz. So we're bringing pressure from the outside, trying to get Andrew Luck to step up into the pocket, where we have three guys clogging the interior lanes, and the backer is also responsible for the hook zone in case someone's running a quick route. So we're going to have the free safety drop back into his deep third, corners dropping back into their deep third, you see right here. And we're going to have the strong safety drop into the curl flat zone as well. So you see where we have three deep, three underneath, and being able to send 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys at Andrew Luck, two of which coming from the outside. So if the Rams can play great nickel defense this week versus the Colts, they have a great chance of pulling off the victory. This week, the Colts will see a lot of cover two, whether it be two man or just your regular two deep safeties. I think they can have some success out of the bunch formation and cause some confusion for that strong safety back there in cover two. We're going to show you two different plays. This is versus your classic cover two, which you have your guys dropping in their deep halves, corners responsible for the outs, but I'm going to show you how we can take advantage of this strong safety right here. Now on the backside, we're just running the receiver out on a streak, hopefully pulling this free safety out here in his cover two responsibilities. But we're going to bring the receiver in motion, and we're going to snap the ball once he splits the tight end and the receiver. Why? Because his job is going to the corner, because we're sending the tight end up on a post, and we're sending the receiver here on a hitch, and we're swinging the back out in the flat. So you see we flooded the zone with 1, 2, 3 routes going to the zone side, and we also put the strong safety in a bind, because now he has to make a choice. Does he get over top of this corner route, or does he get over top of the post? That's how you can beat cover two with the bunch formation. Now I'm going to show you how they can beat two man by utilizing the bunch as well. All right, now we see cover two man, which we're going to have two safeties deep, but man underneath. And the object is to create those rub routes out of the bunch. And I'm going to show you how we can get this done. Now, this is how we're going to spread the field. We're going to bring the outside guy to the weak side of the bunch in motion. So that way we're going to try to create this rub route going front side. So we're going to bring him in motion across the formation. And now you want to snap the football outside leg of the tackle. Why? Because, again, this guy is going up and to the corner. That's the thing. You're trying to draw this strong safety. And also what we're doing at the top of the bunch here, we're sending this guy up, give an out fake, and going in. putting him in the bind because now you have two guys crisscrossing deep down the field. And what we're going to do here, we're going to send this guy on a pivot route. We're going to send him out like he's going out to the flat, pivot him back inside. We're blocking here with the tailback. Andrew Luck should be able to set up and find a guy that's open. He can hit the post, he can hit the corner, or he can find the pivot guy who's usually going to find that soft spot in the zone right there. So that's how they can beat cover 2 this week versus the Rams, whether it be your regular cover 2 zone or cover 2 man.
The X factor for the Rams will be their defensive pressure. They have to be able to, number one, get to Andrew Luck and also get him on the ground. That's most important. He's very tough to bring down, so their pressure will play a huge role in whether or not they win or lose this ball game. The X factor for the Colts will be those other receiving options. I'm pretty sure the Rams will go all out to take away T.Y. Hilton and force guys like Darius Haywood-Bay, Kobe Fleener to make plays consistently, so they're going to have to step up and raise their level of play this week versus the Rams. Now, here are some coaching points for both teams in this ball game. For the Rams, you want to play small ball. That's your short passing game, running inside versus a 3-4 defense. There are natural bubbles in a 3-4 defense, so you can go with more ISO, more lead, more inside zone, and you can have some success versus Indy. And on defense, creative pressure is the key. At times, I would do a little bit of gap exchange with my defensive ends, slanting those guys inside and having the outside linebackers replace their responsibilities just to try to catch Andrew Luck guessing in the pocket. And on offense, you have to have creativity. You have to find ways to get Tavon Austin the football, whether it's in space, whether it's in the backfield. You have to be creative if you want to knock off the Colts. Colts, the screen game can calm the pressure of the St. Louis Rams. You're going to see a lot of stunts up front and a lot of press on the outside. So I would say the screen game will be vital this week versus the Rams. And working those other options early, we talked about that earlier. Guys like Kobe Fleener and Darius Haywood-Bay have to step up. And I would go all out aggressive versus the running game. Yes, that may force you at times to keep one safety deep, but you have to trust your personnel and at times trust your ability to apply pressure. I like the Colts in this ball game. One element of the Colts football team that's not getting enough credit is their defense. They are very stout, and I think versus the Rams, they match up very well, and they'll slow down the running game. And on offense, you don't see the Colts get outside of themselves. They do what works best for them. I think that type of approach is why they're successful, and it's also why I believe they'll knock off St. Louis. And also want to give a huge shout out to Colt fan forums and Ram fan forums for always showing football game plan support.